Okay, what's good? What's good? So, listen, this is about planets having rank by degrees in astrology, and that allows them to be authoritative inside of your natal chart and also during transit. So, we don't have diagrams and stuff like that today because I have a malfunction with my stylus, meaning that you can go in the description box and download your own ephemeris from astrology.com, and you can look along in relation to the transits when I speak about transits on your ephemeris, and get your natal charts nearby so you can understand what I'm talking about when I speak about my natal chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off of my natal chart so I can give you real world examples about what it is that I'm going to be saying in regards to the technical definition of these planets having authoritative power inside of my natal chart. All right, so let's get straight into it. I got Saturn, the planet Saturn, at 24 degrees inside of my natal chart, inside of the sign Virgo, which is my 12th house natally. Follow me so far? Fantastic. Now I got Mars at 3 degrees inside of the same sign Virgo, inside of the same house, which is the 12th house in my natal chart. Capiche? Cool. It's 30 degrees in each sign in astrology. All right. So wherever a planet is, plan it. Wherever it is in your natal chart, it's assigned a degree. Whatever degree it's at in your natal chart represents how much authority it has in the overall scheme of things in your celestial DNA and out your existence, your experience on planet Earth. Boom. So, being that Saturn is at 24 degrees in my natal chart and Mars is at 3 degrees, that means Saturn has more authority than Mars. Simple. Now, you can look at this as a father having authority over their son or daughter, all right? Because Mars rules over Aries, which represents the baby sign and the baby of the zodiac. So Saturn represents the authority in astrology. This could be your mother or your father, though. All right. So because some people they use the 4th house as their father and the 10th house as their mother. So it's really what works best for you when you analyze your natal chart. So you work it out how it best works for you. However, the point is, this is how this is conveyed, that Saturn has more rank over Mars in general for me, based upon the degrees. The higher the degree, the more authority the planet has. All right. So, now that we got that covered, right? There's a thing called the transit, though, right? Remember, y'all, there's 2 charts. If you're just tuning in and subbing to this channel or whatever the case may be, there's 2 charts. There's your natal chart, which is you in general, right? That's for you. And then you got the solar dial, the sun sign horoscope, the current place where all of us are having this experience on Earth, right? So that means that the planets are not necessarily where they were when I was born. And that presents a different type of scenario, all right? If they were exactly where they were when I was born, things would be very natural to me. There would be no disturbances. There would be no dissonance. There would be harmony. There would be no confusion. There would be no obstacles in my way. Everything would be free flowing. I'd be in this state of flow without having to contemplate and decide this, decide that, and, so on and so forth. But because we have a transit, meaning that the planets began to move as soon as I touched down here, as soon as I was birthed, the planets was still moving like they usually do. They didn't wait for me. They kept it pushing, right? So now we in today, in this moment, the planets are somewhere else, right? So right now, right, we got the planet Saturn, which is from between, and I'm doing this based upon a time frame. So I want you to, if you got your ephemeris, look at September 7th to the 15th. September 7th to the 15th, all right? Now, we got the planet Saturn between 20 degrees and 19 degrees in the sign of Aquarius, and it's going backwards because it's retrograde right now. So for me, that means Saturn is in my 12th house because I'm a Pisces, and under the sun sign horoscope, Pisces is my 1st house. Therefore, the sign before my sign, which is Aquarius, is my 12th house. Get it? Good. Now, Mars is between 10 degrees and 13 degrees in the sign of Gemini. All right. And Gemini is my 4th house when it comes to the sun sign horoscope dial. All right. So, in authoritative language, this means that Saturn still has more rank, has more authoritative power over the planet Mars. Okay. So again, this is that relationship that states authoritative figure, mother or father, over the son or the daughter, the baby of the zodiac, right? You can utilize this or see this as like a guidance tool to guide that energy. Now, you may think that that's it, like that's what it is to it, right? Okay, you got Saturn ruling over Mars in your natal chart. Saturn is ruling over Mars right now. But what does it actually mean, right? So if you want to detail it more, the characteristics that are relative to Saturn, which is authority, restraint, delay, hard work, work ethic, right? The things that you would do if you weren't being paid because you want to reap what you sow, because you want to be recognized and obtain status for this is what you're here for, your duty, what your obligation is Saturn. Those characteristics are the influence. The planet is the influence on the expression, which is the sign. So the sign being in Aquarius, I told y'all before in prior videos, close to this date, that Aquarius rules over astrology. Therefore, you can understand why I'm pumping out so many astrology videos right now in comparison to before when I took a break, right? So this is a continuous thing where I'm obligated to do this work. I'm not getting paid for it. Well, ads pay me and stuff like that, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Nobody's like, hey, here goes a check. I want you to make some more astrology videos. You feel me? So that's what this means in detail when it's explained. Now, these things are relative to my 12th house, right? Which is about confidential information, which is what I'm giving y'all right now. It's also about isolation. And although, I'm giving y'all confidential information, you might say, well, you're not supposed to be giving us any of this. I told y'all before, I got Uranus inside of Scorpio in my 3rd house. So I'm going to rebel and speak about occult knowledge because of that combination. Do the math. 3rd house, Scorpio, Uranus, right? Rebel. All right, so not to get off track here and go on a tangent, but 12th house stuff, self-renewal as well, right? I'm going over some things in astrology to find out how I can make myself better at the same time while just conveying the information to y'all so y'all can get yourselves right too, right? If this is some stuff that you don't know about yet. So now with Mars being in 10 to 13 degrees in Gemini, this is taking action. This is about passion. This is about harnessed energy, direct energy, no peripheral vision, just going. And sexual desires at least, right? And it's being in the sign of Gemini, which rules over the hands, which rules over communication, talking, processing of information, connecting thoughts and ideas with other, to join, right? To consolidate in some type of format. And it's relative to my 4th house. The houses is always the result, the intent and the result. Why are we taking action and using our energy with our hands and communicating and talking and connecting ideas? For building the 4th house. That's the intent, that's the result. 4th house is relative to your domestic situation, my domestic situation. Whatever house it is for you, apply it to you. But I'm giving you my real world example. My domestic situation, my nest egg, the retirement funds, or the waning years of my life, or the mature years of my life rather, that's related to the 4th house. My family, my lineage, if I don't have like a mommy, daddy, the dog and all of that stuff, the kids, if I ain't got that, then it means something else, right? But you get the gist. So it has rank, Saturn has rank over those particular things that are Mars related because of the transit, because of the current transit. However, keep this in mind, right? The tables will turn, the energies will shift, meaning that once Mars gets to a degree that's above 19 degrees, then it's going to have more authority than Saturn. You understand how that goes? So it's important to clock the transits. It's important to look at your ephemeris. Should you be really into this and you want to be ahead of the stuff, be ahead of the curve, track your ephemeris, and so you can be aware of what's happening and why these things are occurring. in your life, right? You can even predict or foresee some things before they appear because you have that type of information. So now even more, Saturn has more authority than Mars because it rules over my 12th house, and Saturn is at home because Saturn rules over my 12th house anyway. So you can make that connection as well with your natal chart. Should a planet be in a transit that rules over a particular house that it rules over in your natal chart as well, although the signs may be different, it still has a significance because of that. All right, make that connection. So that's how the planets rank in a nutshell, right? In your natal chart, and then it gets applied during the transit, so you know how to mix it up. So now I want to talk about additional planets. All right, I want to talk about additional planets because now I can give you real world examples of what I just recently been through. That's why I gave you a time frame between September 7th and September 15th, so I can actually reflect and track some of the experiences that I had and check and confirm whether these things ring true that I'm saying. And this is why I told you to utilize your natal chart and your ephemeris so you can do the same thing. You don't have to believe me, right? Do it yourself. Do the work yourself. You have the same capabilities to reflect on the past 2 weeks of your life and use this information that I'm giving you about the signs, the interpretations of them, and say, oh, you know what? I did have a conversation about that. I did walk over here, or I did take a trip over there, and this happened based upon the signs, you know? And then you'll be able to confirm it yourself. As a matter of fact, if you do that, get back in and come back to this video, get in the comment section and explain, clarify, confirm or deny. You understand? Or if you got questions and something you just don't quite understand, ask that question. So we get to the planet of Mercury, right? So in my natal chart, Mercury is 19 degrees. Pretty decent ranking when it comes to ascending order, right? It's kind of up there, right? And for me, it's in the sign of Pisces in my 6th house. Okay, it's in the sign of Pisces in my 6th house in my natal chart. And it has less degrees than Saturn. So Saturn still has authority over my Mercury, right? And we got to talk about the transit as well. So in the transit, we got Mercury, and all of us got this. So that's what's dope about the transits. When I'm speaking about the transits, we all can pay attention. We all on the same level, except for the houses, unless you got the same type of, unless you're a Pisces. If you're a Pisces, then the same houses apply to you. But if you're a different sign, then these houses are going to differ. But the planet and the signs are going to be the same during the transit, okay? So right now, during the transit, we all got Mercury inside of the sign of Libra, which represents balance, represents relationships that are reciprocal and solidifying contracts based upon that. For me, it's in the 8th house. Under the solar dial, for me, during the transit, it's in the 8th house, which rules over sex, secrets, and it rules over studies of the mind. It rules over a bunch of other things, recycling, heroism, death, transformation, things of that nature, right? It's from between 8 to 7 degrees because Mercury is in retrograde right now. Now, again, in contrast to Saturn, 19 degrees inside of Aquarius, which is my 12th house in the solar dial. This means that Saturn, once again, has rank, right? Has more authority over Mercury. So I want to talk about a text conversation I just recently had with a colleague that I've worked with for years. I've known this person for years. And, we play tag. We tap in here and there. It's not all of the time, but we tap in here and there. That's what 11th house friends do anyway. They're aloof and distant, but they're your best friend. Don't play the bestie type shit. You know what I'm saying? So having a text conversation with them, and the information, right? Mercury, communication, information is about sex work, sex relationships, right? So for me, it's the 8th house. It makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? Now, not only that, you see the correlation, or I seen the correlation of Mercury and Saturn based upon extensive stuff that we was talking about in the conversation, which is based around the internet, things that are occurring on one of my websites right now, and the content that is on there. Some of the content is sex based, revolves around sex work, etc., etc. They want to know more details on it, the ins and outs of it. How's it doing? How's the content doing on the website and stuff like that? So I shared a link with them. I'll put them on how it's looking right now. It's not fully done, but I just keep it public right now so that I could do the troubleshooting and people can at least know that there's stuff happening on the website. You feel me? But those things, the point is, those things are ruled by Aquarius. The internet is ruled by Aquarius, right? Digital publishing and things relative to that is ruled by Aquarius. Therefore, Saturn has the rank in this conversation as well when it comes to the obligation of things that need to be done. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what's also important to understand about this is Mercury is not where it is when I was born. You know what I'm saying? It's at a different place. So because it's at Pisces when I'm born, right? We got to go houses over in order for it to be in a place where it was when I was born. So with it being in Libra, that's how many houses or how many signs, away from Pisces. That's Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. That's 5 houses away, which means it's an inconjunct. And what an inconjunct aspect is, it's one of the minor aspects in astrology, but it's still useful. In fact, it's very useful when it comes to predictions and stuff. All right. So inconjunct means that there is friction because some things need to be moved around and adjusted in order for the friction to be removed and for things to run smoothly. Okay. So this is a lot of the reason of why we were having this conversation. As I told you, the site's not fully ready. It's still in troubleshooting mode, still in its beta phases, if you will. And this is a reflection of this friction, this inconjunct aspect between these two planets. And again, with Saturn having the rank, it's like I'm putting things on hold that are regarding money and all types of other stuff where the planets are at because Saturn still has this rank at 19 degrees. You get it? So I'm explaining to them the work that I'm doing on the internet to resolve this friction, to have things running more smoothly. And they like, I bet, that's cool. You know what I mean? So that's how that plays out. Now, there was also more conversation about relative to confidential information. So like I said, Aquarius for me under the solar dial is 12th house, rules over confidential information. So this person was asking me things relative to sensitive information that fortunately I'm under the impression that everyone doesn't have this information. However, I have it and they want to know about it. And it's in regards to budgeting. Now, it's important to pinpoint that too as well because the sun is in Virgo right now. So Virgo does the analytics to figure out what can be discarded or what has to be moved around in order for this thing to be perfect, right? How do we make this perfect? So this is what the person was asking me about, stuff relative to budgeting, cutting costs here, cutting corners, if you will. This person even said that money is not what it's all cracked up to be, like it's fucking whack and shit like that, which is what I'm going to get to in the end because that's not the only person who told me that during this week, right? So, but they made a point of that and it was just like more interested in the information because it was resourceful. Information is so powerful that money becomes secondary when you know what to do and you know how to do it, right? Can y'all agree with that? So this is the type of discussion that we had, all right? So you can see where the planets play their positions in actual real world examples and experiences, situations, etc. So now I also want to talk about the planet Venus and give you some details of a scenario that I had in regards to the planet Venus. Now, I got Venus 24 degrees in my natal chart, which is equal with Saturn at 24 degrees. And my Venus, however, is in the 8th house of Aries. Shout out to my Aries, my Venus and Aries people. You already know what the fuck is going on. Real quick, right? But anyway, that's where my Venus is in my natal chart. Okay. Now let's get to the transit though. Let's get to the transit. Now we all got Venus inside of the sign Virgo right now. And it's between 1 and 12 degrees between September 7th and the 15th, right? So for me, in my solar house, that's my 7th solar house under the solar dial, right? Which makes it in conjunct my natal placement because Venus is in Aries. So again, I have another in conjunct aspect, which means I have to make adjustments relative to what? Money, interaction, attraction levels, reciprocating relationships, balancing relationships so that they are reciprocal, right? And Saturn still has the rank in Aquarius between 20 to 19 degrees because it's in retrograde and it's over my 12th house, right? So I'm gonna give you a story, some real life stories that was occurring in response to this correlation, this Saturn and Venus correlation, right? So I got this chick, right, that I'll be doing contractual work with, and for the life of me, she's good when it comes to landing me contracts that pay well. But not only that, just being consistent at it, like looking out for me, like hitting me up and be like, yo, I got this for you, what you think? I got this for you, what you think? Yada, 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 right? So I'm on a roll with this chick. I've been on a roll with this chick, but just recently I've been on a roll with them. And it was regarding high payments, for the contract work that I was taking on. So this was more significant before September 7th. So like the beginning days of September, I was making bigger bread than I'm making right now, put it that way, right? And based upon the relationship that I have with this woman. So now it comes down to past September 7th, right? To where they made me a proposition. Well, put it this way. I was hyped up off of the money that I made with her, right? So at this point, I'm thinking money. I'm not paying attention to my ephemeris or none of that. I'm just on my money shit. Like, yo, okay, I'm going to make more money. So I'm looking for more contract work from her based upon what I got finished doing with her or something similar, you know what I mean? And when I go to get it, I go to grab it, there's a roadblock. There's like a stop to it saying, like, you got to take a quiz in order to do this. And I'm like, a quiz? Like, I just took a quiz. So some of these contract jobs that I be taking on, some of the companies and some of the contractors, they'll put a quiz up, right? And be like, okay, take this quiz so we make sure that you know exactly what to do. Other entities, on the other hand, they'll say, yo, look, here go the guidelines, read them, you understand? Go do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more along the lines of that. I like that. I'm not beyond taking a quiz, but it's just like, especially in this particular situation, I'm like, yo, a quiz, I'm frustrated now, but I'm going to tell you why. There's a reason behind it. Every time I take a quiz for this chick, I end up getting a 96 on it, which means that there's one answer that's incorrect. Now, I'm telling y'all, when I comb through information and I take a quiz, a test on something, I know all the answers. And time after again, right, I do all of the answers correctly for this chick. And then I have to email her back like, yo, look, for the life of me, I don't know what you're saying I got wrong. Like, all of these questions are correct. What are you talking about? And then she'll hit me back and be like, all right, I did it for you. You had this one wrong. And I'll look and I'll be like, I didn't have that wrong. Like, I put the right answer. I put exactly what you put. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't flip out on her all the time, but I just be like, you know, at first I'm like, yo, I could have sworn that's what I put though. But all right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, whatever. Thanks for running it through for me, right? So this happened on about two to three occasions already. So this time she come through with it in the test come back, same thing, 96. And I'm like, yo, listen. And now mind you, I've done this type of contract work time and time again already. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Nonetheless, we got to take another quiz, update the quiz. So I'm just, at this point, I'm like, yo, I got to master this bitch. Like, I'm tired of this whole taking quizzes, these 20 question quizzes with you. Like, come on, knock it the fuck off. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know how to do this shit. Let me go about my business and do what I got to do. Now, mind you, I told you it was an inconjunct, right? I mean, it's friction. We got friction, me and Shorty. And it's because something needs adjusting. So I had to pay more attention. This is personal now. And it's personal because Venus is a personal planet. Also got to keep in mind that Saturn is an authoritative planet, a transitional planet. It's not a personal planet. So this adjustment that's made here needs to be done in order for me to transition to a higher place. When I say higher, I mean that because Saturn is what? An authoritative figure, right? Okay. So at first I was overlooking that. I'm just being me. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, and Shorty, the way she knew what to do to trigger me. You know what I'm saying? She knew what was going on. She knows too. So this is how we all play a part in each other's lives, and whether you want to believe it or you don't know it or not, some of y'all be knowing what y'all intentions are when y'all interact with people and stuff like that. So that's basically what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Shorty knew what she had to do to trigger me, but it got me to look at something. And that something was the offer, because when I didn't pass the other test, right, she passed me another contract that lowballed me. It was less money. It's like a third less of the money that I was making on the other contracts. And I'm looking at it, and this one got to take a test too, and I'm just like, that's not the one I asked for. I want the other one with the money. Like, what did you know what I'm saying? But when she lowballed me with the other contract, the amount of the payment was the exact amount of a payment that I have on my budget list, on my bills. You understand what I'm saying? So that was my aha moment. Like, oh, okay. No, matter of fact, hold on, let me rephrase that. It wasn't the exact payment. It was the suggested payment. The suggested payment that I pay for that particular bill. And when I mean suggested, I mean like you have communicative downloads, you understand exactly what I mean. Like me and another individual was talking about this same particular bill, and they was telling me like, yo, I don't even know why you're paying so much on that right now. You should pay this amount. And they'll still be satisfied. Trust me, they're not going to break up the agreement with you. They just going to have to take what you give them for the time being, and you address other stuff accordingly, right? So this conversation took place months ago, but it's stuck in my mind. So when this download came with the payment I was like, because the payment is coming up. So I put two and two together. I'm like, oh, that's why this is occurring. That's all the reason why this is occurring. Because remember, I got to make a transition, right? So something needs to be adjusted so I can make this transition. So I see the amount and I'm like, oh, okay, I see. Still though, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking it. Why? Because I had to take some of my money and invest in doing this, or, you know, my energy or whatever the case may be, and it was less money, while at the same time, Saturn is knocking on my door like, yo, you got this internet thing going on. You got this website thing going on. You got all this energy and all this built up momentum behind this. This is what you should be doing, because it got rank. Ignore the money. Put the money on the back. Are you straight? Like, can you maintain? Which is the answer is yes. I can make it. You know what I'm saying? So Saturn is just like, yo, chill out. Get to work on this stuff. The astrology. Saturn in Aquarius. Do more astrology videos. Do more astrologies. And it may look bugged out, right? Because it's like, nah, get the money, grab the money. No. Do this. The money will always be there, or there'll be more opportunities to get the money, which was in fact true. Or is in fact true, right? So I told Shorty, I'm like, look, I'm not doing that one either. So you just gonna have to, I'm not taking the test over, and I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? So then and we really going at it. Like we pretty much are arguing at this point. Now I want you to be clear about this, right? What's happening between me and Shorty at this point is negotiating worth and value. That's what Venus does. Remember, this is something that is reciprocal. This is something that, remember, go to my video, Venus must factor in the ego when it comes to relationships, right? Because I'm saying to myself, like, yo, look, I feel I'm worth more. I feel like even if I've got to sit this one out, then that's what I'm going to do, because we've done had agreements before to where it paid more and things went smoother. Now, also, I got to be true to myself, because my Venus is 24 degrees in my natal chart, meaning I don't have to sell myself short when it comes to this stuff, because I got a high rank when it comes to Venus. So I should be paid a great amount for the work that I do. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes it takes patience in order for that to happen, because if I was to rush it, I'd get lowballed, or I'd get the lower contract just for the fact of having money, which is kind of corny when you look at the bigger picture. Or you contemplate and you utilize the aspect for what it's worth, right? Saturn up here, Venus at here right now. Now again, the same way that Mars and Saturn is going to change authoritative power, Venus and Saturn is going to do the same thing. Now, should I sit it out and wait it out? I can guarantee you shorty going to come back to me in my email and be like, yo, I got this contract for you. I got this contract for you. And it's going to be the payments that I favor more than the payments that are being offered right now. You understand what I'm saying? Now, more clarity on that though, right? More clarity on that. So that happens, right? Now, just recently, I took a contract that was 82%. Yeah, I did the math. 82%, and I'm talking percentages because people are so wild when you start talking about real figures and numbers and stuff. They get distracted. So 82% lower than what the offer that shorty gave me, which was the low ball offer. I took a offer that was way lower than that, 82% lower than that. Reason being is because I want to keep the flow coming. So I'm going to tie this into the colleague that I was having a conversation about based upon Mercury energy, and her saying that she don't like money right now, like it's fucking corny or whatever the case may be, and why I took this nonetheless. You know, I got a different theory on money or whatever the case may be, but I understand what people are saying, and I'm gonna tell you why. Right? So, and this really comes down to preference when it comes to Venus and money. So, remember I told you during September, before September 7th, I was getting money with shorty, making good bread, right? Big bread. So I'm out. Every time I went out to make some money, a woman would come in my circumference and would really be like pouring it on, right? So let me clarify. Remember, this is happening in the sky as well. So Venus is in Virgo. So Venus being in Virgo, that's my 7th house, right? Venus being in Virgo, that's my 7th house. So that's my house of partnerships, relationships, so on and so forth, right? Me being in the public arena, right? 7th house. I'm outside, out and about, traveling, going and do my 1-2 to get my money. So the first time this happened, I hop on the train and I'm on my way to have a conversation with a woman about finances, Venus related, you know what I'm saying? So I'm doing that, and while I'm on the train, I step on the train, it drives for a few stops, then it stops, this shorty gets on, Spanish broad, this chick, her shit out the hair like bang, nice fitting jeans on. So, and I know you might be like, well, that's typical, right? You in New York, you traveling, stuff like that happens. But no, I'm telling you, it's not typical. It's the universe. Venus is about attraction. So when Venus is in a particular person's 7th house, they're going to naturally attract their opposite, which in my case is a woman. They're going to naturally attract someone who can be a potential partner, right? And this is why shorty came so close to me. She could have went anywhere in the car or the train. I'm standing up near the doors and there's seats all over the place, right? I'm standing up. I like to stand up to keep my energy up when I'm traveling and stuff. Sometimes, you know, if I'm low in energy, I will take a seat, but to keep my energy up, I stay standing. So I'm standing by the doors. Boom, boom. She open up. She hop on. She on the phone too. I think she talking to her lover, named Eugene or something. Eugene, it ain't nothing personal, bro. I'm just how this shit happen. You know what I mean? It might be her cousin or her uncle or some shit. Who knows? But she talking. I wasn't eardropping on her, ear hustling on her conversation though. And she was talking partially in Spanish anyway, so I like understood a little bit of it, but not all of it. So, but she grabs the pole. Pause, but she did though. She grabbed the pole right in front of me and stood in front of me. Again, full cart, chairs everywhere and everything. She decides to stand up. Her shit out the hair, bang. Looked like she was just stuffing her titties up in her bra. She's just like up here, right? And I'm just looking at her. She bad though. She not ugly. She pretty as fuck. Hair flowing, wash, set, all that. I'm just like, I'm like, oh shit. Like, you know what I mean? But more than that, I'm looking at the body language and I'm just like, and then I'm doing my astrological math in my head at that moment, and I'm just like, yeah, Venus is in Virgo. You know what I'm saying? This is happening because I've done this experiment before to see how attraction is exerted when Venus is where it's at. And I'm just like, okay, Virgo, 7th house, I get it. You know what I'm saying? She's turning it on with the body. She's pouring it on with the body language, just arching herself, all types of, and her shit just crazy. You know, everybody else looking too. Like, I ain't the only one, but I'm just peeking back and forth because I keep peep game. I know what's going on. So, you know, when people say, yo, when you out getting money, chicks come with that. Like, that's part of the whole package. This is what was occurring on the train. Like, it just happens that way. And for reasons I'll probably discuss on a later note, but I feel like it's way too controversial to even bring to the forefront right now. But like I said, this Venus money thing, it's going to come down to preference. But I'm not going to discuss it in full right now. But I wanted y'all to hear that part of the story. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important to know how these things play out in life. So not only that, I had another experience. I'll go out on another day to go get some more money. But before I go out, I got to go do laundry, right? So I get up while early. I go run to the laundromat. Boom. I'm in there for dolo. Now, I asked Shorty, who's an Asian chick, right? Now, I pretty much know the people in the laundromat. I've been going there for a minute. You know what I'm saying? There's a few in my neighborhood, but I'll be going to this one more than the rest of them. So I know dude in there. I don't know if this is his wife. Yo, my dude, he not watching this, but I don't know if it was his wife or not, and I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you how this shit went down. I don't usually see her in there, but she looked like she could be more his speed. They looked the same type of age is pretty much what I'm saying. Usually there's like an older Asian woman working in there that I don't think they're a couple. You know what I'm saying? They don't be moving like that in there. And I'm not saying Shorty was moving with dude like that in there either, but it just looked like it could be doable. You know what I'm saying? But long story shorter, I go in there. As soon as I get there, I give her a $10 bill. I'm like, yo, listen, I want a 5 and I want 5 singles. She's like, okay. She break it, she give me the change, boom. I start doing my load. Now, mind you, she seen me when I came in. She see I'm for dolo. Now, there's this other woman, Hispanic chick, she in there before I was even there. So I'm watching her. She go up to the Asian lady that gave me the change afterwards, and she's like explaining stuff to her, asking questions, getting the information back on how she could pay for something, right, etc., etc. I'm peeping game. I know the whole conversation, but I'm doing my laundry, minding my business, doing my laundry. Boom. So the Hispanic chick, she leave. So you know how sometimes people leave their laundry and they go about their business, they come back and get their laundry. She did one of those. So before she even left, like, I'm noticing this Asian chick come back and forth. Now her shit like bang, bang, and I'm just like, oh shit, like Shorty got it. Her shit right, you know what I'm saying? She a little bit more conservative with it, but the way she moving around, again, body language, I see she doing a whole lot of moving around. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just like, is that because I'm here? Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Is that because I'm here? Like, she moving around like that, right? But anyway, I see her moving around and all over the place. So when the Hispanic lady leave, I say about 2 minutes afterwards, she comes up to me and she's like, hi. She knows English very well, so it wasn't one of those I gotta like need a translator or nothing. She's like, hi, but like smiling and giggling and all that. And I'm telling you, I picked up on her energy before she even came to me, but I'm just like, all right, what's up? Now I got headphones on and all that, right? So I'm like, yeah, what's up? She like, are you with her? I'm like, with who? She like, the girl that left. Are you with her? Y'all are together, right? And she's smiling and everything. I'm like, nah, who you talking about? I ain't with nobody. I ain't with Shorty. And she like, you sure? Showing me her paperwork and all that. Like, you sure? Because it was something like a discrepancy, I guess, with the payment. Maybe she paid too much or something like that. Or she ain't pay enough. And like, I'm the significant other. I'm supposed to fit the rest of the bill or whatever the case. I'm like, nah, I ain't with Shorty. Like, nah, I wasn't with her. You know what I'm saying? She was like, oh, my fault. I thought you was with her. I thought y'all came in together, which is a bullshit ass lie. Because she seen me coming by myself and I came straight to her. Like, yo, let me get changed for a 10. She know I wasn't there with Shorty. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, I thought it was cute. You know what I'm saying? She's smiling ear to ear, whatever. She's like, okay, my fault. I'm sorry. Thank you for your time and stuff like that. Extra, just extra. You know what I'm saying? Pouring it on. So again, I'm just like, yeah, this Venus and Virgo shit is really popping in the 7th house. It's just the universe, y'all. It's just the universe. I ain't playing none of this shit. I just went out and about to do what it is that I'm doing, and this is how things transpired, you know? Now check it out, right? This is what I want to also say. Like I told you, two of my peoples told me. One of them said money is the devil. fuck that shit. Another person was like, money is whack. This shit is corny. It's not what it's cracked up to be. We don't really need it as much as people think we need it. Like, I understand where they're getting at. In this particular time, when you look at the transits and you see where Venus is, and not only that, Venus falls in the sign of Virgo. So what I think is occurring, especially in the western part of the world, is there's starting to be more understanding and embracing of Eastern mysticism, which is where the planets falling actually mean what they mean, that they fall in these signs, which means they're not great there. You understand what I'm saying? They're not greatly expressed there. And this is something KRS channel made pretty clear, right? And y'all could go search that out. I'm not sure what the actual video is titled, but he definitely made this very clear that in the Western world, when planets fall, they are actually celebrated. It's inverted. It's perverted because of the level of materialism in this part of the world. So as Venus falls inside of Virgo, I was getting from my colleagues the Eastern mysticism interpretation of that, which states it's not what it's all cracked up to be, and people are doing a little bit too much. You understand what I'm saying? So I get it. And at the same time, I believe this is something that is applied to preference, ultimately, eventually. That's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. So what I would say in regards to that extensively is pay attention to the stock market crashing as it is. I mean, it is. Tuesday was a doozy. Again, get in the comment section if you want to hear me bring clarity to that, because I think it's a clear-cut example of how Venus, the money planet, falling inside of Virgo makes actual sense, and it's not exalted and celebrated as the West usually makes it to be. You know, there was a tremendous loss on Tuesday in the stock market from a report that I seen. I ain't even combed through it thoroughly, but from what I seen, yeah, shit got real. So I ain't gonna drag this too much longer. If for some reason you feel like I just did too much storytelling and you didn't get what authority means when it's pegged to these planets and the degrees that they're at, get in the comment section, because it's important that you understand this. It just defeats the whole purpose if you don't understand this. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want you to just be intrigued by the storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, I tell the story so that you understand what's happening in the symbols in real world scenarios. All right.